The 9/11 attacks happened during my very first week of high school as a freshman in San Francisco. And a year later, my school had a memorial for the victims of 9/11 and an assembly. And at that assembly, I read a poem that was pretty critical of the government and didn't completely slam the United States, but also wasn't entirely about honoring the victims. And it was very controversial at my school, and a bunch of faculty members got up and walked out, and it created a big dialogue at my school about whether they should have let me read this somewhat anti-government poem in the first place at an event that was about honoring the victims. And I've 10 years of perspective on it now, and if I were the person that I am today and I had that opportunity, I probably would not have read that poem at that moment, because I think it's important to pick your battles and find respectful times to say what you have to say. But I'm also not regretful that I said it, because it started a dialogue that, and taught me something about myself that years later I can use as a lesson. And there's coverage of 9/11 happening everywhere, the anniversary, and you can't avoid it. And the way that I view it is similar to the way I view Mother's Day and Father's Day. On these days, we're reminded about how much our parents mean to us. And it's not that we should only be thankful for our mom or our dad one day out of the year, but it's that if we can use that day as a reminder to put those lessons onto every other day, then that's not a bad thing that that day exists there to guide us for how we should be looking at the world. And 9/11 was this horrible tragedy that brought people together like never before. I mean, at least in my lifetime, like people across political boundaries and religious boundaries, people with all different opinions came together as human beings and Americans in solidarity and in tragedy. And we should be able to try and find ways to come together even when there isn't tragedy going on. And the fact is, 9/11 was this huge, very immediate, terrible thing that happened, but there are tragedies going on constantly every single day in this world. There's a huge portion of the planet who doesn't have enough food to eat and doesn't have a roof over their head. And it's easy for us to gloss over, or for me at least, as a privileged American, when my Yahoo headlines apparently are the only things I'm supposed to care about are what celebrity gossip is going on. And that's the kind of news that's being put in front of us. But we have to remind ourselves that these things are happening every day. And in the poetry world and the arts world, a lot of times there's only doom and gloom and fear and terror over the state of the world and all the bad things that are going on. And yeah, our world's not perfect. But what frustrates me about that is that then it's impossible to get some people who are so focused on what's wrong with the world to realize that we're also living in one of the most incredible times in human history. We have the most amazing technology and ability to solve problems and infrastructure that almost any civilization anywhere ever has had. So, the flip side is, in our tragedy, we also can see when we have a lot, how lucky we are. So those are my 2 cents on the day. Just an update on the poetry collections that everyone ordered. I want you to know I haven't forgotten, and if it's taking a while to get to you, it's because so many people took me up on the offer that I had to reprint T-shirts. I had to order 200 new T-shirts and tag them and sort them and put them with CDs and send them all out. So I want you to know that I'm not going to forget any of you. It's going to come to you, but it's taking a while just because I have to reorder product. There's one person, his name is Jacob Toe, I believe, who got in touch with me. And I'm going to send his package out early because he's shipping off to the Navy in October. So I want everyone to send Jacob your well wishes, and I'm going to send him his package first. But don't let that think I've forgotten about you guys. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week.